Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
The highest court in the state could make a decision on a local privacy rights issue. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Triple C. Despite an appellate ruling ordering Chula Vista to review its drone footage for possible release, the city is appealing the case to the California Supreme Court. KPBS's Amita Sharma reports that the city says it's not trying to avoid accountability.
La Prensa San Diego publisher Art Castaneras sued Chula Vista in 2021 after its police department denied his Public Records Act request for its drone footage. A Superior Court judge ruled in favor of the city last year, saying the video was investigative and thus exempt from disclosure. But an appellate court said the judge erred and ordered the city to review the requested video and determine what is actually investigated. Chula Vista officials declined a KPBS interview request. In a statement, the city said it was, quote, concerned that the Court of Appeals opinion may compromise significant privacy concerns of members of the public in this case or in future requests. For that reason, the Chula Vista City Council agreed to seek review of the matter by the Supreme Court of the state of California, end quote. Castaneras says the city is disingenuous when it uses privacy concerns to justify keeping surveillance video from the public.
They're arguing that there could be so many instances of violating people's privacy that releasing the video to me or to anybody else will further violate individuals' privacy rights. What that means is, if that's true, is that they have already violated people's privacy by the way they're flying these drones.
If the Supreme Court decides not to take the case, the appellate decision stands. Amita Sharma, KPBS News.
Unrelenting winter storms have killed at least 40 people in multiple states since last Friday. Millions remain under various alerts today, and another wave of extreme cold and snow is expected this weekend. Laura Aguirre has more on how the states are faring.
Winter's grip tightening across the U.S. Thursday with nearly 70 million people under various alerts from coast to coast. Dozens of storm-related deaths reported across multiple states since January 12th. Like in Oregon, where 3 people died after a falling tree branch draped a live power line across their SUV.
The vehicle was electrified, and so when they touched the ground and touched the vehicle, the electrical current ran through them.
Parts of the southeast have seen a season's worth of snow this week alone, with more sleet and freezing rain falling on roads already covered in ice.
It looked like a big water fountain pouring water out onto the firehouse.
In Bolton, Mississippi, a water tower overflowed when a key shutoff sensor froze, icing over everything below. Extreme cold and lake-effect snow are still blanketing the Great Lakes and Northeast regions. New York and Philadelphia both saw an inch of snow for the first time in 700 days, with several more inches expected through Friday. In the Pacific Northwest, power outages for some Oregon residents rolled into a 5th day.
It's been basically survival mode. We moved our mattress in front of our fireplace, so we've been camping there for 5 days.
And yet another wave of snow and brutal cold is expected across the Midwest into the eastern U.S. once again this weekend. I'm Laura Aguirre for KPBS News.
With 2024 off to a chilly start for most Americans, some may be realizing that like extreme heat, extreme cold also comes with a cost. We'll break down those costs a little later on.
We have fairly cool and relatively quiet weather to begin the forecast. Overnight tonight, we'll get down into the 40s in most areas, but 51 in San Diego. And again, nothing too disruptive for the overnight forecast. Some clouds will scoot across the sky, but things really turn much more active into next weekend, really beginning on Sunday and especially Monday. We'll begin to see widespread rain return to our area. We'll have that full forecast. We'll break the details down coming up.
Dog overcrowding has reached a critical stage at San Diego County shelters. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayers says this is a crisis playing out nationwide, and there's a desperate need for people who can foster or adopt a furry friend.
Man's best friends are desperately in need of a home to call their own. In San Diego and across the U.S., more dogs are being brought into animal shelters than are being reclaimed or adopted.
About a year and a half ago, everything slowed down.
Dana Michael is president of the Animal Rescue Resource Foundation, a nonprofit organization based out of North County.
So I get 2-3 calls a day. People, can you take my dog? Can you take my dog? Can you take my dog? And I think that's always been the case, but the shelters have had room. And now they don't have room.
Shelters like those run by the San Diego County Department of Animal Services are now at a critical stage of overcrowding at both of their locations, in Bonita and Carlsbad.
We're operating right around 97-98% capacity on a daily basis.
Carl Smith is the assistant director with the Department of Animal Services. He's concerned that many dogs are now staying longer than 6 months, particularly larger breeds like Huskies.
Any of our animals, and specifically dogs that are here over 6 months, they start to decline rapidly. So we want to get those dogs out as fast as possible.
The situation is similar at the San Diego Humane Society, says the organization's Nina Thompson. They set a record for the number of canines in their care last October, 727 dogs. That's more than double the number of kennels they have.
We've never seen a year like 2023 before. Right now, 2024 is starting off at an alarming rate. So we're hoping that the trend is going to change. But historically, for San Diego Humane Society, we've never seen anything like this.
While all shelters in San Diego County will not kill a dog due to space or time constraints, the overcrowding can severely impact the dog's health. But why is this happening? One theory, according to Smith,
just the economic conditions across the nation. A lot of people are being forced to relocate into apartments that are not willing to accept pets. Plus the insurance for some breeds has become very difficult to get. The other issue is just that just to care for an animal, it's expensive.
Forbes magazine says the average cost of a vet visit in California is about $72. Thompson says another reason for the overcrowding may be the pause of spay and neuter clinics during the pandemic, leading to more puppies being born. With all the dogs short on space, Smith and Thompson are asking for help in the form of fostering or adopting a pooch for those who have room in their hearts and homes. Jacob Ayers, KPBS News.
And you can find this story along with more news from North County, San Diego in our new newsletter. North County Focus offers a quick recap of the big stories happening in North County, as well as a roundup of everything happening in the region. And you can sign up for it at the link shown on your screen, kpbs.org/North County Focus. San Diego admits its roads could be better, but says it now has the information it needs to make them better. Today, the city's transportation department gave an update on a comprehensive review of all city streets. It's the first review of its kind in 7 years. Every street is graded with a score of 0 to 100, with 100 being the best. The city says the overall score is 63, which is in the fair category, but below the city's standard of 70.
In 2023, 250 miles of roadway were repaired and resurfaced, and more than 61,000 potholes were filled. That's a 94% increase over the previous year. While this amount was one of the highest seen in a city budget and over 3 times the annual average allocation, the amount is still not enough to maintain the network of our roads.
And there is a city website where you can look up any street and see its score. It's at streets.sandiego.gov.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, Congress works to avoid a government shutdown with another short-term spending bill. That's at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
There's a massive surge of Chinese migrants crossing the U.S. border via a massive underground operation. In just the last year, more than 31,000 Chinese migrants illegally entered the country, and that's roughly double the prior 10 years combined. David Culver reports.
If crossing the U.S. southern border is step one,
America,
then step two for these Chinese migrants might just be even more daunting. You've made it. Now what?
How is it now that you're in the United States?
That's freedom.
Freedom, they tell us. Even as Border Patrol handcuffs and leads them onto buses to be processed. Where they go from here and who helps them along the way might surprise you.
We're going to go down to the basement here. He said he's got a couple of rooms.
From Southern California to New York, we meet dozens of Chinese migrants who've taken near identical paths to get to the U.S.
He's 2 months. He's been here 4 months.
Yes.
And they came over from California? Into San Diego.
Yes, San Diego.
For Chinese migrants, parts of America can look and feel a lot like China. Take New York City's Flushing neighborhood, home to a Chinese diaspora going back generations. It is once again a desired destination for these new arrivals.
And you expect more to come?
Yes, maybe 5.
Oh, maybe put in another bed, you think?
Yes.
Community leader Ma Zhu tours me through the many rooms of this Flushing house where he hosts migrants from China.
You have Christians?
Yes, Buddhist.
Buddhist? Muslim. All under one roof?
Yeah.
Behind each door, we find a different story.
You're learning English. It's your daughter.
Yes.
And where is she right now?
In China.
She's in China right now.
Yes.
Does it surprise you that we're seeing such a surge in Chinese migrants coming to the U.S.?
I'm not surprised, Ma says. I think this is just the beginning. But Ma stresses that this goes beyond politics and economics. Coming to the U.S. is their way of seeking dignity, he says. Ye Chongsheng is seeking that dignity for his wife and their 2 young daughters. He says the Chinese Communist Party's crackdowns on faith, especially towards Muslims, motivated him to leave. To me, he says, the U.S. has felt like a soft, warm embrace.
My favorite color is blue. Thank you.
While some feel hope, there are those like 28-year-old Zheng Shijing who feel mounting pressure to find work. He crossed into the U.S. a few weeks ago and is eager to repay money he borrowed from family and friends to make the trek. There's an army of migrants marching north, he tells me. It is going to be so competitive to get a job. He sees the migration influx as added career competition. He looks to those who've come before him, like Wang Chun, in the U.S. now for more than a year and a half. After flying to Ecuador in the spring of 2022, Wang then rode motorcycles, buses, and boats to get to the U.S.-Mexico border, eventually making it to Los Angeles with a dream to become a truck driver.
Where do things now stand for you legally here?
Wang tells me today he is part of the overwhelming backlog of U.S. asylum cases, but it's not stopped him from building a life here. I've got a work permit, driver's license, and social security number, he tells me. Adding, we work hard and pay taxes. We're not a burden. While Wang is waiting to plead his asylum case in court, he's now legally working as a truck driver. His focus? On the road ahead. Yet behind him, there are thousands from China and elsewhere, determined to reach their American dream.
On this vote, the yeas are 314, the nays are 108. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, and the Senate amendment is agreed to. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Congress passed a short-term funding extension averting a partial government shutdown by the end of the week. Immigration was one of the major sticking points for lawmakers. Challenges still lay ahead as lawmakers must now pass multiple full-year spending bills ahead of new deadlines set for March 1st and March 8th. The bill now heads to President Biden to be signed into law. High school students in the South Bay are the latest target for voter registration. The Sweetwater Union High School District has launched a campus campaign aimed at getting more eligible teenagers to participate in the 2024 elections. Student volunteers have joined the League of Women Voters and the county registrar in signing up for more first-time voters. At Chula Vista High School this afternoon, 18-year-olds could register, and pre-registration was available for 16 and 17-year-olds.
We're youth, we're the future. And I think if we neglect our youth, if we don't participate, we're going to end up with laws that don't reflect the type of people we are.
The lunchtime student voter registration campaign continues through early May, with events like this one scheduled at each of the Sweetwater District High School campuses. The County of San Diego is now offering a program to help first-time home buyers. KPBS reporter Melissa May tells us about the program and who qualifies.
The County of San Diego's Down Payment and Closing Cost Assistance Program, or DCCA, is helping some San Diegans buy their first home.
It's a low-interest, deferred payment loan, and the county's made it available for low-income first-time home buyers.
Felipe Murillo with Housing and Community Development Services says this program is for people with an income 80% or less of the area median income.
Now, for a family of one, that's about $77,000. For a family of four, that's just over $110,000 a year.
First-time homebuyers can use this deferred loan, valued up to 22% of the sale price, for a down payment and up to $10,000 in closing costs.
The benefits of this are that you don't have to make a monthly payment. It's a deferred payment, so you don't pay until you sell the home, or if you want to refinance and pay the loan off early, you can do that as well.
DCCA currently has about $2 million available until the end of June.
This assistance offers the first-time home buyer the opportunity to actually qualify for a loan that'll get him into a house, and it relieves them of the need to pay mortgage insurance or to come up with a big down payment.
The loan can be used to buy new or resale homes with a purchase price up to $676,000.
Well, homeownership, we just know, is a fantastic investment. It creates generational wealth, but more importantly than that, it's great for individuals and it's great for our community. It allows financial stability.
That's Greater San Diego Association of Realtors President Spencer Lugash. He says this program can really help first-time buyers.
From a realtor's perspective, we like to encourage them to find that lender that's qualified through the program, find out whether they can qualify, what they qualify for, and then seek out the assistance of their neighborhood realtor to help find the actual property.
The homes must be in the unincorporated area of San Diego County, or any one of these 12 cities in the county. The San Diego Housing Commission has more about the DCCA program and how to apply on its website, sdhc.org. Melissa May, KPBS News.
A large part of the country has started 2024 with unusually cold temperatures, and a new system is bringing more extreme cold and more snow to the central and eastern U.S. The extreme cold comes with a price tag, one that Americans may feel now and later. Karen Kafa explains.
The extreme winter weather and frigid temperatures felt coast to coast this week can come with hefty costs, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. NOAA estimated overall damages and costs of a northeast winter storm and cold wave last February that produced some of the coldest wind chills in U.S. history at about $1.8 billion. A cold snap that knocked out power to customers from Texas to Maine in December 2022 cost about $8.7 billion. Tama Carlton is an environmental and resource economist at the University of California, Santa Barbara. She says there can be individual household costs for the extreme cold.
If you work in a sector that requires you to be outside, like construction or mining or agriculture, it's probably a lot harder to do your job in these events, and so that affects household incomes as well as labor supply and productivity in those sectors.
Higher heating costs, even for just a week or two, can pose a challenge and risks.
We should be thinking about the households who are forced to trade off increased health risk from this cold event against paying more money to keep the home warmer.
Extreme cold can also take a toll on crops and put stress on livestock, which could eventually push up grocery prices. The current stretch has also been tough for airlines and passengers. Last weekend saw more than 6,000 cancellations around the U.S. Saturday through Monday, according to FlightAware. And when a flight is canceled, airlines are required to provide refunds. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Well, we are playing it a little cool and fairly quiet over the next day or two as the quiet portion of the forecast kind of moves through the very beginning of the weekend. Things are going to turn a little cloudier. The clouds will increase, and we'll begin to see some showers on Saturday. But there's a soaking rain that'll be with us as we begin the new work week here, so we'll take you there. And we could use some rain. The storm track has recently been diverted north for a bit. They've had a series of ice storms up in Portland, Oregon, but locally, we've had relatively quiet weather in Southern California. So tonight, 51 for your low, partly cloudy. Most of the interior will get down into the 40s. And tomorrow, here we have our Friday highs deep into the 60s, mid-60s from Oceanside down to Chula Vista and areas around San Diego. A little farther east, 71 at Borrego Springs, but upper 40s into Mount Laguna. So future satellite and radar will show that we have fairly quiet weather. Some showers stay north here through Friday morning. Widespread rain reaches the Bay Area, but then into Saturday morning, we get into some rain into areas around Los Angeles and eventually even here in Orange and into San Diego counties, especially into Saturday around midday. So the increasing chance for rain slides into our local area by midday on Saturday, and especially into Saturday afternoon as the snow begins to pile up into the Sierra with drenching rain farther north. As we step into early next week, our likelihood of widespread soaking rain will increase. We're going to have more snow into the mountains of the Sierra at least, but for us, we're looking at some drenching rain times Sunday and into Monday. So let's get into it here. Here it comes. You can see some showers around on Saturday, a little break between waves of precipitation, maybe a shower or two Sunday. But for the coast, a soaking rain on Monday. That's your wettest day. And then we see some drier weather return Tuesday. Into the inland areas, showers around Saturday, a brief shower Sunday, downpours on Monday. Monday's your wet day there as well. Into the mountains, most of us are going to be a little cold and generally dry till we hit Monday for the mountainous areas, and some lingering showers hold on through Tuesday. And for the deserts, well, we got some desert rain coming in Sunday night and Monday. Temps drop about 10 degrees with that transition. For KPBS, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Cornish.
The San Diego Convention Center is hosting a solar energy expo, but it's not just about technology and workshops. KPBS SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge tells about a sporting event you've probably never even imagined, the Solar Games.
The solar installation team Grid Alternatives is competing in the Solar Games, and they've got a fan base. The California all-women's team was playing their first round against Northwest Electric and Solar from Washington State. What are they doing? Well, they're putting something on a roof.
So we have 3 rounds, and it's single elimination, and each team has 90 minutes. We're competing roof to roof. Each team has 90 minutes to install an array of 10 modules, in addition to a battery backup system.
Whether watching solar roof installation is a good spectator sport is open to debate. Team coach Anna Bautista is also the VP for construction at Grid Alternatives. They're a nonprofit company focused on bringing solar energy to low-income households. She says the players are definitely into the test of skills and the race against the clock.
I think for a lot of teams, they're here for the money. First prize is $10,000. For us, the most important thing is representation. We love to win and get some money out of competition, but we really are here to represent for all genders in the industry.
This is the part where it starts to get exciting. They're actually installing the solar panels. Competitors say to win at the Solar Games, you need speed and accuracy. You got to do it right. Gabe von Welsheim coaches a team, and he's owner of the solar company Aloha Solar in Encinitas, which had just won its first round.
And we're putting racking, rapid shutdown panels, wiring it up, battery, hooking it all to an inverter, essentially as quick as we can and as safely, and also do it as per the manufacturer specs.
The Solar Expo and the Solar Games run at the San Diego Convention Center through Friday when the final teams compete. So we'll learn tomorrow who goes home with that $10,000. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
This Saturday, a special screening of a Stephen King film classic takes place in Oceanside along with some of the cast and crew. KPBS film critic Beth Accomando has this preview.
Oceanside International Film Festival is screening the 1996 film Thinner, followed by a panel with cast and crew on Saturday. The reunion had been planned for last summer, but the writers and directors' strikes forced the festival to cancel the event. The festival is excited to now be bringing director Tom Holland and actors Robert John Burke and Joe Mantegna to town to celebrate the film.
You kill my daughter, and I curse you. Thinner.
From the best-selling novel by Stephen King comes the new shade of terror.
A little bit of camp. Tom will talk about this, how, well, they could have gone this way, they could have gone this way with how the film went, but they did it a little campy. It's a fun film. If you like Stephen King, you'll like it. If you like Tom Holland and his horror and that kind of Chucky vibe, you'll like that too.
Lou Niles is executive director of the festival. He chose the film because his wife and the festival's creative director, Carly Star Brulo Niles, worked on the film.
She was a assistant prop master and on-set prop master, so she worked with all the crazy stuff. You'll see the blood, the goo, the pies.
If you don't know about the pies, then you can find out this weekend. The movie screens at 5 p.m. Saturday, followed by a Q&A and signing of the new 4K Blu-ray release of the film. Plus,
for those horror movie buffs, Vincent Guastini, who is a legendary special effects makeup artist, is going to be in-house as well. All the funds for buying tickets or buying the posters, it's all for the nonprofit for the film festival, and we use that. We put it right back into putting on these events or putting on the film festival.
Join the Oceanside International Film Festival for its screening of
Stephen King's Thinner. More terror. Less filling.
And all fun. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.